presenting Ariadne auf Naxos, Richard Strauss and Hofmannsthal, who wrote the text. It was written 100 years ago, so that's in itself significant, but it proves itself to be just as relevant today as it was 100 years ago. The first part of the opera, the prologue, is set in the gallery, an art gallery, private collection of the richest man in Vienna. And we see that he's collecting elements of the Bacchus legend, and he's rather obsessed by that. He gets his friend, we call him Dion, who runs the house for him, to put on a show. He invites an opera group to come and perform Ariadne auf Naxos, but in case they're bored, he invites another dance group to put on a show called Sabinetta and Her Four Lovers. And at 9 o'clock, they're going to have fireworks in case that they're bored by those two shows. Nobody will be bored because it's a beautiful piece, so that won't even come into consideration. The opera itself takes place on an island. They complained in the first half that there's this miserable old island, but in fact it's not at all. It's incredibly elegant rock in what seems to be an installation in this art gallery. The installation is surrounded by videos, which is something which is new for us in this production, and therefore we can project extraordinary effects of sea, of storms and fire, so it should become very dynamic. The thing is that Strauss wrote these two versions of the piece. This first version, which is purely about the conflict between commedia dell'arte and opera seria, and the second version, which 4 or 5 years later is in a different mindset, and he talks about conflict in relationships. That's what I'm going for in this piece. We're talking about an opera in which the composer and the dance girl, Sabinetta, obviously have something which brings them together, a magical thing. I'm projecting that into the relationship maybe that exists between the tenor and the soprano, who are then going to sing the roles of Ariadne and Bacchus. Maybe in private life they had a conflict, maybe they had a relationship, whatever. They arrive in the stage and they sing together and they refined through the music some sort of contact which then turns into rekindling their love. In fact, that happens throughout the piece with all the relationships. So in fact, the whole opera ignores conflict. It talks about the potential relationships between people and them coming together. And then it gets this sort of cosmic, incredibly emotionally charged moment when everybody comes together at the end, and then we get the most glorious music that Strauss ever wrote. I think opera is about entertainment. It has a huge, important message, but in the end it's got to be a great evening out. And that's what it is. It's the most glorious music. It's hilarious situations, it's emotionally charged situations, conflicts, tragedies, all these things brought together. For me, that makes a great night of entertainment.